Magandang araw sa inyong lahat, mga kaibigan. And today we're here at the G1 Lodge. We are honored to have with us our guest over coffee and tea with Malu, the lone district representative for Baguio City, Congressman Mark Go.
Magandang umaga sa iyo, Malu, at ako'y natutuwa at nagkaroon tayo ng pagkakataon na magkadaong palad ngayong umaga. At ako'y nasisiyan na kasama mo yung napakagaling mong mga team na nandito ngayong umaga. So really good morning at sa atong mga nakikinig at nanonood sa iyong programa, magandang umaga sa inyong lahat.
Thank you so much. We're really honored to have you with us, Kong. Eto na at magsimula na tayo. Prior to your entry into the political arena, you were actively involved sa iba't ibang mga activities as a private individual. Now, could you please tell us and our viewers who Congressman Mark Go was?
Well, I was involved in so many things before I became Congressman of the city of Baguio. First, I was involved in education, even up to this time, considering the fact that we ran itong aming school, itong Berkeley School. I was president of that school since 2002 when we established it. Then prior to that, I was the Human Resources Director of one of the multinational companies in the city of Baguio. And of course, I was also involved in real estate, considering that my wife is in this business. Outside of these activities, I participated in various civic and socio-economic organizations in the city of Baguio, particularly Rotary. I was president of the Rotary Club of Baguio North and district governor of District 3790 of Rotary International. And also, I was involved with the personnel profession by being the president of the People Management Association of the Philippines. These are the things that I have been involved with, and you can see that these are varied participations that I had. And truly, this reflects the kind of individual we are. As we perform our functions in these different organizations. And at the same time, I can see that this helped me a lot in curbing my future career in politics. No? I can say that I am a person that is multidisciplinary in terms of thinking, and at the same time, I have developed the kind of character needed in the political arena that should be held by any individual who go into this. No? So I would say that notwithstanding the fact that we have all these experiences, I feel that I see the relevance of these experiences that I had with the involvement that I had also with other organizations in the realm that I am in right now.
Okay, so you said na nakatulong itong inyong skills,
Yes.
management and leadership skills. How would you compare these skills to that of you being a legislator?
Well, first, as based on the experience that I had, I developed yung being a people person. No? It's very important. When you are a people person, you look at the needs of the people you work with. You try to provide the opportunity for them to grow in the organization, and at the same time, your main responsibility is to inspire people. And this helped me in my work in Congress. Plus the fact that my exposure in the art of politics when I was a student, and at the same time in economics, plus my management experience helped me come out with laws and bills that focus not only on one aspect of the work that I have done, but also for the whole country, no, and for the whole city of Baguio. And all these things have helped me prepare myself in doing my job. Like when you do, bills in Congress, you need to understand the environment, the people that are going to be affected with what you will do. And to me, these are important experiences that I had in business, in education. So all these things helped me in my job as a congressman of the city of Baguio.
So, masasabi ninyo that it was really, or it is really important that you've seen everything on the ground
Yes.
prior to your becoming a legislator.
Yes.
Kasi nakita nyo na eh. Kung ano yung mga
Tsaka
kailangan.
varied yung experience natin.
Yes.
Kaya kung makita mo yung ating mga ipinail na bills ay covered lahat ng areas. May bill tayo tungkol sa labor, sa education, sa improvement of the organization of different entities in the country. So all these things have parang if you look at them, it covered the whole gamut of legislation, no?
Yes, yes.
So at saka because of this, I get easily exposed to a lot of things in Congress, the different committees that I participated in. I can contribute inputs in the discussion because of my varied experience prior to becoming a congressman.
Opo. You are chairman for the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
Yes, yes.
So, ilan na po dito ang mga bills, mga panukala ninyo na approve or enacted into laws, and how did this benefit the city of Baguio?
Well, there are several bills that I have filed in relation to education, no? And one of them is as a sponsor, is itong Doktor para sa Bayan. This is the medical scholarship and return service, which was already acted upon by the President by signing this bill into law, no? And the provision there is you encourage those students to apply for this program because they will be given scholarship starting from yung tuition fee, miscellaneous, and all other expenses for the lodging, uniform, up to the time that they will take the board exam, no? But ang requirement dito, after given this scholarship, and if they graduate and pass the board exam, ang mangyayari dito, they have to provide service to the country by serving in the municipality where they came from, no? For every year of scholarship, they get 1 year of service that they have to provide. So libre sila. This is one way of addressing the requirement ng mga estudyante kasi only those rich people who can afford to go to medical school, no? In this particular case, we want to tap the bright students who graduate from any university in the country that cannot afford to go to a medical school. And at the same time, we would like to address the needs of the country in terms of medical mga doctors in the different municipalities of the country. So it both addresses the concern of these students as well as the different communities in terms of the need for them to serve the communities where they came from, no? So ito yung isa napaka-importante. We have also a bill which was approved into law. Ito yung Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education, which provides also free to all students who will study in state universities and colleges, free in tuition and other related expenses that they have dito, no? Ito yung tertiary education. Now, the other one is I have filed a bill. It's already approved in the committee level as well as in the Committee on Appropriation. Ito yung bill ko on creating the tripartite education council Right now kasi, one of the major problems of our country is yung job mismatch.
Okay.
You know, there are
Yes,
so many graduates that we have, but when they go to the different industries, they are not accepted because the qualifications that they have are not suited to the requirements of the industries. So one way of addressing this is create a tripartite council composed of the academe, the industry, and the government. No, yung gobyerno ngayon will be the parang authority that will work together with this academe and the industry. And in that council, ang mangyayari dito, they will identify the requirements of the industries, no, and all the programs of the academe should be geared towards filling up the requirements of the industry.
Yes.
In terms of definition of curriculum, training of even faculty should be part of it, as well as the students. So yung mga estudyante can go to a school, to a industry on an OJT arrangement,
Yes.
and learn, no, prior to graduation. So that when they finish, pag graduate na sila, ready na sila dyan. So on a macro level, itong tripartite council will look at the total economy at alamin kung ano yung mga industries na nangangailangan and what. Then this will be communicated through that council to the different academic institutions, and the academic institutions will define, no, ano yung mga improvements na dapat gawin para ma-address yung needs ng mga industry. Can be a change in the curricular offerings of the different universities and colleges, or at the same time probably training of the people who will do the training of the students in the different universities. So ito yung tripartite council, no?
Which is composed of the academe, the private sector, particularly yung sa labor, no? Sa
the industries,
Yes. And then the students.
The government, government. Kasi importante yun eh.
So nakabinbin pa rin ito?
Yes, it's a very important bill.
Sa committee level ba,
yes,
sir?
Then, tapos na-approve na sa committee level. No? And another one that we have passed is itong tinatawag naming tertiary education subsidy. No? This is one of the bills. Kasi the so-called universal access to quality tertiary education focuses on the public universities and colleges. What we wanted to do is to support students entering the private private universities and colleges. Kasi ngayon ang focus pa na public.
Sa public na.
So what we would like to do is provide certain budget to the different private universities and colleges, and they will help yung mga estudyante na mag-aaral doon. Ang gusto natin dito ay bigyan ng choice ang mga estudyante where they want to go, where they want to study. Pwedeng sa public or sa private. So we will give them itong tinatawag nating voucher system. We'll give them the voucher. Let's say ang voucher cost is 20,000. So yung 20,000 na yun will be given to the student, and he can choose whether he wants to go to a public school or a private school. No? Ito yung tertiary education subsidy, which will be given to the students who are qualified to receive. No? So this is a proposed change that we would like to have.
So meron na po itong nakalaan na budget kung sakali?
Pag na-approve ito, meron ng budget na isasama sa budget yan. No? Hindi pa automatic na before the filing, but once this is approved, it will be included in the in the General Appropriations Act. No, let's say ang allocation ngayon, 70% will be for public and certain percent will be for private students. And the students now will choose kung saan ang gusto niya. So,
okay. Maliban po dito, kayo rin po chairman ng Committee on Labor and Employment.
Yes.
Paano po, na po yung mga naisabatas na mga panukala na ninyo, at kung paano po ito nakatulong sa mamamayan ng Baguio din?
Well, yung sa labor and employment, napaka laking debate rito ng mga pinail nating bills dyan. Ano? As of now, yung mga bills na pinail ko, nasa Senado yung iba nasa House pa. No? Like for example, the increase of the service incentive leave of employees working in private companies. Right now, under the labor code, ang service incentive leave after rendering 1 year of service is 5 days. Ang ginawa natin, in-increase natin to 10 days. No? Because the labor code has been promulgated since 1972 during the time of President Marcos. Wala pang pagbabago, 5 araw pa rin. No? So I proposed it and it was approved in the House. It's now in the Senate. No? From 5 to 10. So after rendering, yung ibang kumpanya naman, they voluntarily make it 12 days per year of service or
sometimes 15.
Meron pang 15 yung iba. No? But for those who do not have this kind of system in their own company, we mandate that this service incentive leave will become 10. But if they're already giving 12 or 15, that will be already in compliance with this particular bill that I filed. Itong 5 to 10 days. Yung isang issue naman, nasa bill, nasa Senado na rin, ito yung pag-resolve ng problema natin sa contractualization. Diba? Under the law, our existing law, merong piniprohibit ng ating batas. Yung labor-only contracting is prohibited by law. What is allowed is job contracting. No? Pag labor-only contracting, bawal yan. At from the beginning, if you hire under this arrangement, these employees are actually employees already of the company. So what we would like to do is strengthen the provision on this so that we can prevent itong labor-only contracting, because this is one of the causes of underpayment of benefits and salaries of employees. So ito'y pending din sa Senate, no? Meron din akong bill para sa mga kadis. Mga kadis. Kasi ngayon, ang mga kadis, walang medical benefit at saka wala silang SSS, wala silang other PhilHealth, walang pag-ibig, no? Kasi under if you look at the decision of the Supreme Court on a case filed against a country club in Metro Manila, there is no employer and employee relationship between a kadi and the club, no, or the golf club. Also, the reason there is, sabi nga nila, they are not really directly hired by by the club, no.
Yes.
So para mabigyan silang benefit, I filed a special bill that will provide them, no, this medical insurance. We will give them pag-ibig, PhilHealth, and SSS coverage. So this is still pending dito sa House of Representatives. Now, once this is approved, caddies will be provided all of this. If they retire after reaching the age of 60, they get benefit under the law. Pero ngayon, wala eh. I have a caddy who has studied for me for several years. Now he's 60 already and nothing had been given to him. No? So ito, gusto nating maproteksyonan yung mga caddies natin. So the other, which we have already approved into law, yung making labor education as part of the curriculum of those students who are entering college. No, ito yon, because we want them to understand the rights, their privileges under existing law, particularly the labor code. So kailangan itong labor education na isinulong natin at ito in-approve na sa Committee on Labor at saka sa House at saka sa Senado.
Kayo po miyembro din ng 10 committee.
Yes, on top of
sa lower as a house,
Yes.
Ngayon, how does it work? Can you be a main proponent of a bill, being a member of any of these committees?
You can file any bill and it can be addressed by, the process in Congress is if you file a bill, it will be read first on first reading, then the House will forward whatever is the agenda there in the bill or the topic to the committee. For example, if it is labor, it will be given to the Committee on Labor. If it is in education, higher education, to the Committee on Higher and Technical Education. If it is conversion of a, let's say, a state college into a state university, it goes to the Committee on Higher Education. So if it is about fuel, it goes to the Committee on Energy. So depends on if it is actually amending the charter of a state university, it goes again to the Committee on Higher Education. Pag-postpone halimbawa ng barangay election, it goes to the Committee on Local Government. Pag it's about, kamukha nung sa atin, I filed a bill on the revision of the Charter of Baguio,
Yes.
it goes to the Committee on Local Government.
Kumusta na nga po pala ito?
Well, yung bill natin sa revision ng Charter of Baguio, it was already approved by the House, it was already approved by the Senate, and we have already agreed on the BICAM result, and now it's on its way to the Office of the President for signature. Ito yun. So, you can file a bill covering all areas, and it can be in a committee that you are not a member, or it can be in your committee that you are a member, or even a chair of a committee.
Yes. And Kong, we'd like to commend you for an excellent performance and attendance with 0 absences to your name. Ano po, talagang wala kayong absences?
Wala, since 2016 up to today. So we are ending already our 18th Congress. Wala pa tayong absent sa lahat ng session natin. At the same time, we actively participate in the deliberation. Hindi naman tayo nag-attend lang for the sake of attending, but we actively participate in the deliberation of these committees, and at the same time sa plenary. And we have delivered also privileged speeches
Yes.
during this plenary meeting of Congress.
Ilan na ho ba yung mga naipasan yung proposed bills, lahat-lahat yung total? And then, ilan po dito ang naisabatas na? Meron po ba dito?
Marami akong na-file na bills eh. If you look at my record dun sa website ng Congress, we have filed more than, this Congress, no? I think we have filed more than, as a principal author and co-author, siguro more than 200 eh. No? But yung naipasa na, since the time we started, ilan na ba yan? 18 yata yung naipasa na nating mga batas na napaka-importante. Ang proseso kasi nga pag na-approve sa House, pupunta sa Senado, kailangan ma-approve din sa Senado. At pag na-approve sa Senado, walang difference between our version and that of the Senate. There is no need for a BICAM. Pag merong difference with what we have proposed and what was approved by the Senate, doon magkakaroon ka ng BICAM to reconcile yung difference. No? After that, once it is approved in the BICAM, it goes back to the House for ratification at the same time sa Senate din. Once it is both approved and ratified by both houses, it goes then to the President for approval.
Yes. May mga pagkakataon na may sariling version ang Senate.
Yes.
Diba? From that of, kasi lahat ng bills mag-emanate sa House, di po ba?
Hindi naman.
Hindi naman.
There are only 2 na mag-emanate sa House.
Okay.
One is yung tax. If it is a tax bill, it will start from
The
the House. Pero yung local bills, particularly for example sa atin ng Baguio, yung revision of the Charter of Baguio, yung bill natin na itong Quezon Road will be rehabilitated, no? Yung bill natin tungkol sa Baguio General Hospital, these are considered to be local bills because they primarily concern only to dito sa city of Baguio, no? Pero pag national, increasing, for example, the pension of our SSS pensioners, yun national ang coverage niya. Pwede mag-start sa Senate, pwede mag-start sa House.
Okay.
Pero itong sa amin na local, nagsisimula yan sa House.
Okay.
And some senators, they actually, once it is approved sa amin, they file their own bill basically the same as that of the local bill that we filed. For example, revision of the Charter of City of Baguio. I filed that bill. Si Senator Amy Marcos filed similar bill. No, similar yan, parehong-pareho. But when we had this hearing at the Senate, ang nangyari dyan, mayroong mga amendments na pinropose yung ibang senador. So we ended up a situation where we have our own version and they have their amended version. So ang ginawa namin, nung na-approve na yung amended version sa Senate, saka yung sa amin, we created a BICAM conference sa House at saka dito sa Senate. Yes. Ngayon, para hindi na matagal ang diskusyon, yung opisina natin, we just concurred with the version of the Senate. Pag ganun na, hindi ka na mag-create ng BICAM kasi nag-concur na kayo eh. Yes. At yun ang ginawa namin dito. At yun nga, para mabilis na ma-approve ng Presidente.
Hindi niyo po ba nararanasan yung may ma-veto po ng mga...
So far, wala pa tayong veto na during my term, during the time of President Duterte. No? Pero itong bill natin na revision of the Charter of the City of Baguio, nung this was filed in the, I think, 15th or 14th Congress, nabito ito during the time of Congressman Bernie Vergara. Nabito yan. Okay, at ang Presidente nag-send ng veto message sa House at saka sa Senate explaining ano yung binito niya. So, when I look at this veto message of the President, the bill that I filed, although it involves a lot of changes from the original bill, I comprehended yung veto, yung mga points na raised ng Presidente. So that when this is presented again to President Duterte, it will not be vetoed anymore. So ito yung inano natin, in-address natin.
Okay, so nakabinbin pa po dun sa office?
Hindi, papunta na sa kanya, sa Presidente.
Okay.
Ang ruling niyan ay within 30 days dapat the President will act on it. And failure on the part of the President to act on it
lapse into law.
Will lapse into law, either veto it or approve it. But in most cases, the President approves yung mga napupunta sa kanya.
Okay. Medyo nabanggit nyo na to kanina, but we'd like to be specific now. Ano po yung mga panukalang batas ninyo na sa batas, na approve, na enact, no? That really benefits or benefited the residents of Baguio?
Okay, yung muna nga, yung pag-increase ng bed capacity ng BGH from 500 to 800. Now, I have a pending bill during this 18th Congress sa Senado, increasing from 800 to 1,500. Yun, directly benefiting yun ang City of Baguio, yung mga constituents natin dito. Not only Baguio, as a matter of fact, we have a lot of patients coming from the neighboring municipalities and towns of regions CAR and Region 1, even Region 2. No? So yun yun. So yun. Pangalawa, yung bill natin ngayon, which was already approved into law, yung full rehabilitation of Cannon Road to become an all-weather road. So yun, approved na yun. Pinag-aaralan na ngayon yung implementation nito. Kasi what we want to do is, kahit na umuulan dyan, open ang Cannon Road. Hindi pwede yung close open every now and then. Umulan lang, nagkakaroon ng erosion dyan sa particularly the Benguet side. Yung Camp 5, Camp 6, Camp 4, Camp 3. No, it will definitely benefit Baguio, of course, and the other neighboring municipalities dito sa Benguet. No? Yung other one, which was already approved into law, yung converting the hillside as well as Port del Pilar annexes to independent national high schools. So if this happens, magbe-benefit yung mga kababayan natin na mayroong pinaaral sa dalawang schools na ito kasi magkakaroon ng sariling funding yung dalawang schools na yan. Kasi ngayon, yung mga teachers niyan at saka mga head ng mga dalawang schools na yan ay nagagaling dito sa main campus. Ito yung Baguio City National High School. Samantalang ngayon, if you look at it, ang dami ngayong mga estudyante na nanggagaling sa iba't ibang barangay close to these two annexes. But they cannot accommodate them because, kulang ng facilities. At the same time, mga teachers, they only are borrowing from this main school, no? So, pag ginawa yan, madidecongest natin yung Baguio City National High School. Dito na lang sila. At yung mga neighboring barangays, they will just go to these two high schools, no? At may funding yan. Yung principal, hindi na OIC. Full-time ng IASA dyan. So, these are important bills that I filed that were already approved into law.
Okay. Marami po kayong, there will be a lot on your plate, sigurado po yan. Like, for example, dito po sa Baguio, may mga government-owned properties na kung saan may mga nakatira na, no?
Yes.
And ang problema nga nila is, paano kung may ginawang gobyerno? Madi-displace po ba sila or will they remain or may mga kondisyones?
Yes, actually, Malu, no, I have met with several groups here in the city of Baguio. And this is one of the main agenda that I would like to address in this next Congress. For example, itong sa BGH na lang, no? BGH has about more than 24 hectares of land. And in our initial talk with them, there are about siguro less than 350 families within the property of BGH. And they occupy more or less about 8.3 hectares.
Laki ha?
Oo. Ngayon, with the expansion programs of BGH to cope up with the increasing population of the city and the neighboring municipalities, they cannot, do all these things that they want to do, no? Kasi the plan here is with the bill that I filed, increasing it from 800 to 1,500, they will be putting up 15 specialty centers, no? Specialty centers, lung center, heart center, cancer center, geriatric center, no? So they need space within BGH. So what we did is we met with BGH officials and the leaders of the homeowners in BGH barangay, no? And in principle, we have agreed that we will identify, BGH will identify ilan ba yung out of the 24, ilan ba talaga yung kailangan nila to do all this expansion work, no? Kasi ang BGH, dalawang klaseng mga titulo dyan. One is titled under BGH, yung iba naman mga proclamation lang, no? So ngayon, we identified yung by February 28, they will tell us kung ilan ang kailangan nilang hectares to do all this work. And they're willing to share itong mga lumang ito sa mga nandun na. Kasi some of these people are former employees of BGH. No? Lumaki na sila, gano'n. Tapos nag-retire, nandun pa rin. So ito yung ina-address natin. We can come out with a bill or a measure to segregate itong mga ito and will be given to these people, but they have to pay also to BGH or to the national government or to the city of Baguio. No? The same is true with Camp Allen. The same is true with Cabinet Hill Teachers Camp.
DPS.
So DPS, Irisang, dami, Gibraltar, and all the others. So yun ang gusto nating i-focus. No? We don't like to dislocate them. What we like to do is address this once and for all. Itong mga problems. Ayusin lang. Hindi kasi pag, halimbawa, dinimolish mo sila, maghanap na namang ibang lugar. Apektado rin sila. So what we would like to have is a win-win resolution of this. No? So how do we do it? We identify kung ano talaga ang kailangan nila at anong kailangan din ng gobyerno. And we will segregate those lands and do some work to ensure na maganda yung kanilang, yung kanilang bahay doon. At the same time, kumpleto ng amenities, yung road system nandyan, tubig, kuryente, and so forth and so on. So ito yung major challenge natin for 2022 up to 2025.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, sir. You're seeking for a re-election bid. Maliban po dito sa nabanggit po ninyo, talaga naman, hindi po birong trabaho yan.
Oh.
Ano pa ba ang nasa isipan ninyo na pwede nyong magawa o gawin para po sa ating mga kababayan?
Itutuloy ko yung plano ko na bigyan ng tulong yung mga estudyante na mag-aaral sa mga pribadong paaralan on the college level. Pati na yung textbook ng mga estudyante. No? So this is another agenda that we would like to include in our plan so that we can, lalo na dito sa Baguio, you know, how many
Yes.
private students do we have here? We have only Baguio, UP Baguio with only how many? 3,000 to 4,000 students. But yung private natin, 70,000.
For SMU, UB, and
UC, no? And other small private schools. No? What we wanted here is provide opportunities for them and at the same time support from the government. So ito yung isang measure na gusto nating may sama ngayong 2022 up to 2025. Tapos sa environment, gusto kong ituloy yung aking plano na magkaroon ng moratorium sa cutting of trees in the city of Baguio. Oh.
Okay.
Kasi na-file ko yung bill na yan, nandun sa Committee on Natural Resources and I would like to revive that. At the same time, yung bill ko, nasa Senate din ay mandating yung mga graduates before they graduate, na high school at saka college, to plant 2 trees.
Oh.
So yun, hindi pa, kaya tutuloy ko yun. Yung isa naman ay to mandate that for every child born to a parent, they should plant 2 trees. Oo, kasi you know, in our
magaling naman
country
yan.
today,
Yes.
we have about 1.7 million born babies every year. Oo. So can you imagine kung
Times 2.
Times 2. And they have to see to it na i-maintain nila yan hanggang lumaki yung tree. No?
Yes, yes.
So ito yun, sa environment yun. So education, sa health, I want to be assured na yung bill ko na increasing the bed capacity from 800 to 1,500, mangyayari yan. No? So this is a carry-over goal natin. Gawin natin 1,500 ang BGH. At I visited BGH, kasabay ng pagbisita ko kay Mel, dun sa BGH, at nakita ko talagang dapat improvean yung existing old buildings ng BGH. Plus yung mga ginagawa nila ngayon, kung makita ninyo, ongoing mga construction ng mga different facilities of BGH. Pero kailangan pa nating ma-continue yan. And this is a major goal that I would like to do. No? Yung pang-5 naman, we would like to improve the facilities, the infrastructure of all public elementary and high schools in the city of Baguio. There are about 67 elementary and high schools in Baguio. And if you look at the layout of these schools, and at the same time yung facilities nila, kulang na kulang. And I want to have a blueprint for every school. In public, I'm talking of public elementary and high schools in the city of Baguio. So these are some of the, I call them challenges, part of my 10-point agenda for 2022 to 2025. Plus addressing mga requirements and needs of special sectors in the city of Baguio. Yung mga women, PWDs, yung mga volunteer workers, kasi yung sweldo nila, yung allowance nila, napakaliit. No? Alam ni Kapitan Raymond yan. Oo. So gusto natin, matulungan natin yung mga yun. So these are some of the plans that we have for the city of Baguio in the next 3 years. If God permits na tayo ay mabigyan ulit ng pagkakataon na magserbisyo.
Sir, to wind up, bago po natin pakinggan ang inyong mga parting statements, ano po yung mga guiding principles niyo sa buhay?
Well, ang pinaka-importante sa akin yung integrity ng isang tao. And yun ang gusto nating maging gabay, patuloy na maging gabay. Since the time we started, not only in government, but even in business. Yun ang gabay natin, no? Yung character at saka integridad ng tao, napaka-importante sa atin. So dito sa pagsisilbi natin during the last more than 5 years, yun ang nagiging gabay natin. At hindi lang natin gabayan, kundi ginagawa natin. Ayaw natin ng corruption sa pamamahala sa gobyerno. Ayaw natin na mabahira ng anumang sabihin na natin ganito, yung question on our integrity.
Yes.
Kasi itong pagsisilbi natin, ako'y naniniwala na hindi importante yung ikaw ay nahalal, ang importante ay kung ano ang yung gagawin pag ikaw ay nahalal.
Yes.
At yun nga, sabi ko nga, I do not draw strength from my position, I draw strength from my character and competence as a person. No, we walk the talk. Napakahalaga niyan. People will look at you, how you do your job. Even the people who work for you, yun ang tinitingnan nila. Kung yung mga sinasabi mo, yun ang ginagawa mo. No? Hindi yung iba yung sinasabi mo sa publiko, tapos iba yung ginagawa mo. So, yun, napakahalaga sa akin yan. At umasa yung ating mga kababayan na yun ang magiging patuloy na prinsipyo natin, yung pagsisilbi ng tapat, ng mahusay, at marangal na pagsisilbi sa kanila. No? Yun ang importante.
Okay, Sir Kong, we'd like to thank you really for, accepting our invitation for you to be our guest dito po sa Over Coffee and Tea. Maraming salamat po. Before we finally wind up, meron po ba kayong mensahe sa ating po mga taga-subaybay?
Well, unang-una, Malu, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to be part of your program. Napakahalagang karanasan sa atin. I think this is our first time to have this interview. And I know that your listeners are really waiting for more interviews that you conduct. I have watched the other interviews that you have done with other guests of yours, and I find them very meaningful, and at the same time, I know that I have learned a lot from these interviews that you had. At tunay akong nagpapasalamat sa pagkakataong ito. No? Sa ating po mga kababayan, umasa po sila na patuloy po tayong magsilbi ng tapat, ng bungusay, at ibibigay po natin ang ating sarili para sa kanila. There is more meaning when you do serve. And at the same time, things that you have should be shared to people. And this is part of our sharing to them when you give your best for others. So again, maraming salamat at mabuhay tayong lahat. Thank you.
Thank you so much. At dito po natin tinatapos ang ating pong pakikiugnayan, pakikipanayam kay Congressman Mark Go. Thank you so much. At sa ngalan po ng ating team ng Over Coffee and Tea with Malu, this has been your host, Malu Laksamana Pascual.